Today is November the 17th, Tuesday. It is morning in Los Angeles and morning in America. I am your host, Casey Phoenix, and this is my morning political thought. Social media stuff, thepurpleelephantshow.com, main podcasting platform, The Purple Elephant Show on Parler, The Purple Elephant Show on Instagram. And if you are watching this on BitChute, Daily Motion, or YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, followed by the notification bell for YouTube. And that's all I have for social media stuff. Let me go ahead and get into this. I found out something that I didn't know was happening today. Right before I started recording, a notification came across my phone that the tech CEOs are testifying in front of the Senate, which is interesting because the side news story that I came across this morning in the Washington Times was about Section 230. And I was planning on covering that before, or reading the article, before I found out about the tech CEOs testifying. I heard they were going to come back and testify, but I didn't know when. So I guess it's today because the New York Post sent a notification asking if I wanted to watch. But I don't care when it comes to those hearings because they don't mean anything until the law is changed or until they're sued into bankruptcy. None of the stuff means anything to me. It really doesn't. It's just whatever. It's more lip service. It's a dog and pony show. So that's how I feel about that. But like I said before, this side news story, I want to go ahead and read real quick. And it's only like 4 paragraphs, so it's really short. All right. So NSA ex-chief backs changes in media law. A former top U.S. National Security Agency lawyer is calling for Congress to hold social media platforms accountable and amend Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Section 230 provides social media platforms protection from legal liability for material posted by users on their platform. Republican lawmakers have zeroed in on the provision as ripe for an overhaul, resulting in the perceived, no, it's not perceived, it's definite, the perceived censorship of conservative content, while Democratic lawmakers have expressed a willingness to regulate social media platforms as well. Now, Glenn S. Gerstel, who left the NSA as general counsel earlier this year, wrote in The New Yorker that online disinformation poses an ongoing threat to the U.S., and it is time for the government to intervene, amending Section 230 to impose some liability on social media platforms in a manner that neither cripples them nor allows them to remain unaccountable is a necessary step in curbing disinformation. So that's what they had for that particular article. And I think it's something that needs to be done. An example of that is what's going on right now with this whole thing. And that's what my morning political thought is. Am I the only one tired of hearing about Joe Biden? Okay. I've been hearing president-elect, president-elect, president-elect. People have been cracking jokes saying, hey, I'm president-elect. I'm president-elect, and so on and so forth. And the crazy thing is, it's already crazy that they keep saying this president-elect stuff. And social media platforms allow it too. They don't say, well, this has been disputed. You know how Twitter likes to do, or Twitter likes to do with disclaimers. Well, this has been disputed. They don't put that up on Joe Biden's social media. Not that I follow. I'm not the type of person, if I don't like you or if I don't care about you, I'm not following your social media because I don't care what you're doing. But through other sources, I happen to see that when Joe Biden had posted stuff, Twitter did not do the disclaimer because I found out watching Newsmax and they were showing it. It was on, what was the name of that show? I think it was Greg Kelly. I'm pretty sure it was Greg Kelly. It was on Greg Kelly's show. And he was showing how on President Trump's tweets, all of these disclaimers are up on President Trump's tweets. But on ordinary citizen Joe Biden's tweets, let me say that again to let it marinate. On ordinary citizen Joe Biden's tweets, Twitter doesn't put up any disclaimers. So make it make sense. And this is the thing. They keep screaming over and over again, President elect, President elect. I can scream over and over again, I'm white, I'm white. And people are going to be like, no, you're not. I can say, well, 10 people told me I was white. And people are going to be like, no, you're not. Yeah. This is how people who have functioning brains feel about this whole Joe Biden president-elect thing. And the media keeps on repeating it over and over and over again, as if them saying it over and over again will make it true. The election has not been certified. The media does not certify elections. They're still finding votes. As a matter of fact, they found some more votes for President Trump in Georgia, even though the recount that they're doing in Georgia right now isn't okay, let me articulate this correctly. Even though the recount in Georgia isn't as thorough as it could be, they still found votes for President Trump. So if they found votes for President Trump in a recount that's happening that is not as thorough as it could be, imagine how many votes they would find for President Trump if it was a thorough recount where they could verify the signatures and everything else. So, and that's just one state. Also, there are other states that have done recounts, and notice that Republicans have received a 5% increase in votes because the votes were missing that weren't counted after doing the recount. So with the 5% increase, that would pretty much take care of most things across the board for President Trump. But this is what I'm talking about. They keep doing this President-elect Joe Biden, and Joe Biden keeps on doing all of this stuff. Oh, well, I'm going to meet with my pandemic team or whatever task force, and oh, well, we're going to talk about the economy now, and oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We don't care. We don't care. You're not the president. You're not the president-elect. You're just a regular citizen. And somebody else brought this up too. When it comes to security briefings are usually for people who, if they've never been in Washington before, it's better for them to get the security briefings to sort of know how things go. Sort of like what happened with President Trump when he first started, because obviously he wasn't a politician. Even though the security briefings were not really security briefings, it was more like spy briefings and blackmail briefings, but these are minor details. And with Joe Biden, his security clearance hasn't expired anyway. So he has somewhat of well, let me take that back. The people around him have somewhat of an idea what's going on when it comes to national security and what pieces are moving on the chessboard and things like that, regardless. So it's not like, oh, he has to be brought up to speed how things run in the White House. He doesn't. And the Trump administration doesn't owe him anything. The GSA does not owe him anything because the election has not been certified and probably won't be until December. We're in November. So we're in the middle of November. Today's November the 17th. We got nothing. We got nothing. This election has not been certified. So saying president-elect, Twitter needs to put a disclaimer on Joe Biden's tweets anytime he does something or says something, but saying they need to say the election has not been certified. That's what Twitter needs to do. And if Twitter was about being fair and they wanted to show some small action, I guess you could say, or do one small thing to extend an olive branch to conservatives, the least they could do is when Joe Biden tweets, they could put up a disclaimer saying Joe Biden is not president-elect, or either the election has not been certified, and say that, because that is a fact. It's not up for debate. It's not how you feel about the election. It's not what the media says about the election. It is a fact that the election as a whole has not been certified. So if Twitter wanted to extend an olive branch, they could put those on Joe Biden's tweets anytime Joe Biden tweets something, or, well, Joe Biden's not the one tweeting, but whoever tweets for Joe Biden, anytime they tweet something related to presidential duties, quote unquote, to say the election is not certified. That's how I feel. But I also feel like, am I the only one tired of hearing about Joe Biden? And when we're not hearing about Joe Biden, we're hearing about Joe Biden doing a lid, saying, oh, well, he's in for the rest of the day. Where was Joe Biden at when the violence happened this past weekend? When Trump supporters were attacked, when they were just peacefully marching. If you notice, when Trump supporters went out during the Million MAGA March, nothing was burned down. No windows were broken, nothing was looted. It was just waving flags and just shouting and protesting and things like that and marching. That's it. Peacefully. Peaceful. That is the example of peaceful protests, not mostly peaceful protests, peaceful protests across the board. Because Trump supporters aren't, when they go to protest, they're not looking to burn things down and loot places. They're just looking to wave flags and say, hey, we disagree with what was done, or we disagree with what's being said, and we want to show support for this cause or that cause or this president. That's it. There isn't anything else. But then as the sun falls and night comes over DC, the critters come out and start attacking Trump supporters. So where was the media at on that? I don't get it. And then, to my understanding, some social media platforms, including Twitter, was trying to take the videos down, which was proof that Trump supporters were being attacked. It's just, yeah, Section 230, I look forward to it being redone, and I'm pretty sure eventually it will. I'm pretty sure. But as for Joe Biden, I'm tired of hearing about Joe Biden. Other people are tired of hearing about Joe Biden. I'm sure. Because I just feel like I'm not the only one. I can't be. Or am I the only one tired of hearing about Joe Biden? But the funny thing is going to be, if and when President Trump goes into his second term, do you know how much of a fool, which Joe Biden looks like a fool now. He just, that's regular. With or without the election taking place. He's always been a little bit off. But could you imagine that he's done all of this stuff, set up everything with the president-elect in the background and having all of these meetings and doing this and doing that and talking to world leaders? Huh. Yeah, I could, yeah. And everything else. And then we go into President Trump's second term. Somebody's going to have egg all over their face. So, but am I the only one tired of hearing about Joe Biden? I can't be. I know I can't be. But for those who don't know, no, Joe Biden is not president-elect. And even Alan Dershowitz said that recently. Joe Biden is not president-elect. Anyone who knows anything about the Constitution and how elections work, they know Joe Biden isn't president-elect. And that's just been my thing lately. I'm tired of hearing about Joe Biden. Can we talk about something else? I'm honestly tired of hearing about the China Wuhan virus. I'm tired of hearing about Joe Biden. And honestly, I'm tired of hearing about election fraud. We know they stole the election. So let's get the lawsuits rolling. Let's get everything rolling. And like I said yesterday, I know it's a heavy lift. These attorneys have to do a 1 to 2 year case in 1 to 2 weeks and file and make sure all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. I get it. but it's time for action. And also shout out to all the people who are doing the cross-checking in regards to the voter fraud, where people voted in one state absentee, but then they might have voted in another one, and they're calling and checking the databases and doing things like that on their own. That's amazing. When I heard about that I was like, wow, that's amazing. I As I mentioned before, I prefer those type of things over protests, because those type of things, that's action. That's action. I like action. Action is good. Protest is just a dog and pony show, in my personal opinion. If you want to protest and that's what you like to do, more power to you. But I look at protests sort of like the hearings in the Senate. Nothing really, it's rare that something comes of it. And now there was a rare occasion recently in Denmark, because Denmark, they were about to do either another lockdown or either have mandatory vaccinations. It was something. I forgot what it was, but it was in Denmark. And then all the people came out and started beating pots and pans and doing all this other stuff. And then whatever they were planning on doing, they changed their mind, because it registered in their head, there in the politician's head, there's more of these people than there are of us, which is what I've always said about the United States being the most civilized country in the world. And the United States having as many guns as it has, and these politicians thinking that, oh, well, we can just keep on pushing these Americans to the brink, where there's over 300 million Americans with over 200 million guns, and there's only a handful of politicians. Yeah, you can keep on doing that if you want to. I'm not condoning violence. I'm not suggesting violence. What I'm saying is that the human psyche can only take so much. That's what I'm saying. And some people might get to the breaking point. Just like what happened with Governor Whitmer when they were trying to say, oh, well, it was Trump supporters. No, it was not. Some of the people who were accused of planning a kidnapping of the Michigan governor actually could not stand President Trump. So this was it was a very broad spectrum of people who just had enough. Could you imagine if that hit just 10% of the population out of 300 million? That's 30 million people. There isn't enough military. There isn't enough police. There isn't enough politicians or anything that can outnumber 10% of the American population. So they can keep playing those games if they want to. I'm just going to sit back and eat popcorn and sip my tea, and do what I do and talk on here and give my opinion. But it's whatever. Anyways, this was my morning political thought. Am I the only one tired of hearing about Joe Biden? And I'm pretty sure I'm not. ThePurpleElephantShow.com, main podcasting platform. The Purple Elephant Show on Parler, a free speech platform. The Purple Elephant Show on Instagram. If you're watching this on BitChute, Dailymotion, or YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you, everyone, for all of your support. I really appreciate it, especially the follows on Parler, because I'm picking up more followers on there, and also the subscribes on BitChute. Love all of you guys. Until next time, be blessed.